Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another exciting Minecraft episode. Today we're going to talk about making each day a fresh start. I'm Dr. Kimberly Quinn, and it is my honor and privilege to help people learn to become the boss of their brain because thoughts come first and feelings come second, and then behavior or action third. So, it isn't, it's any kind of understatement to say our thoughts literally dictate our day, which dictates our lives. And it's just I want to start off by saying it's so amazing, actually, how we just sort of land on things, that we need to hear when we need to hear them. It's just so wild. And I was kind of just researching because each week I do a newsletter for the Champlain College crew called The Mindful Times. And I was looking through and looking through. I'm like, sometimes like, oh, I did something similar last week or a month ago. Let's do something new. Da, da, da. I just kind of landed on this short little piece by Richard Carlson about making the fresh start commitment. And I couldn't help thinking, wow, outside the newsletter, even if I weren't doing the newsletter that day, this was just exactly what I needed to be reminded of, let's say, because for the past 4 or 5 days, we've had just a little bit of a stressful house situation going on. That after day 5 of the stressful house situation has just had everybody a little cranky. And it's just because it's kind of gone on a little bit, and it'll be over soon. But it's just had everybody a little bit on edge, and I think it's so easy. It's very easy to wake up, and I told you about my morning routine, and I still did it today, actually, thankfully. It just takes a little more conscious effort, waking up, staring out at the beautiful view we have, thankfully, out of our bay window, and then I say my thank you, and I said my thank you again, and it's very easy still to kind of bring yesterday with us into today. Like, let's say it's the water pump went, you have no hot water, no hot water, and then you just like, oh, there goes my shower. You bring it into this day, or let's say it doesn't involve anything physical like that. It's some kind of frustration that's not as tangible. That's even, in some ways easier to leave behind because yesterday's hot water break would lead into your today not having a hot shower. So that's a little more tangible. And this wasn't that kind of thing. And it's just so easy to just wake up and bring it right into today when we don't need to. Even with the hot water thing, if it's been going on for 4 days, it is what it is, right? And we can do our best to not to realize we cannot change the present moment. And our thing was not a hot water thing. Like I said, we've had that happen though too. And that gets frustrating. We actually it was about 6 or 7 years ago, we had the power go out here, which does frequently, and went out for 6 straight days during Christmas with 5 kids home. Maybe it must have been longer than that because it seems like they were littler. It's more like maybe like 10 years ago or something. And 6 days, and it came back on the 26th of December. So all the fancy food had de-thawed. I still cooked it right along the way. And that's a long time. And with us not having power during that time, that means flushing everything in this house. You can do nothing except use the wood stoves. And if you light a match carefully and say a few novenas, you can use the top of the stove, but no lights, no flushing, no fridge, da, da, da. So again, that wasn't this, but some of us were still, crispy over the chaos that was sort of going on. Then I landed on this reading, which my intention was to find something for the Mindful Times newsletter that goes out tomorrow. And I thought, wow. And I read it, then I read it again. And then I just did this internal thank you, like, thank you, thank you for this for the newsletter. And thank you for this is exactly what I needed to hear today, too. And it's not like I don't know. I do know. And I forgot. It's so easy, even when we're in the biz, of the positive psychology and positivity. It's so easy, to get caught up sometimes when life throws us a curveball. And they're of all varying degrees, of course. And to realize, I temporarily needed this refresher of, I can start my day over right now. And at the time I was reading this, my day was just starting. Just made my tea. I had just actually written in my gratitude journal saying 3 grateful things about the current little situation that's going on that I'm grateful for that have so far, been positive, and we're almost done with this little chaos thing going on. And And then when I searched this, I thought, I just a big thank you to the universe, or however you want to call your higher power, because this life lesson is just the great reminder for today. And another one I like, it's a little different from, it's similar but different. I just forget who said this. The stuff about, I just said about make the fresh start commitment is Richard Carlson. But this other one was from a different book. And the similar part is just starting your day over. So this was the very beginning of my day. And then about 2 hours later, enter this little tail trickle end of the chaos that we had in the house over something. Tail end of it, almost all set. And it was back briefly. And I thought, okay, breathe. Went for a walk in the woods with Giovanni and thought, you know what? Here's the other thing that was sort of a domino effect from this original reading this morning, was starting the day over. Okay, we have starting the day fresh. That's the beginning of the day. Then something can not go so well at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, noon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or even an hour before you go to bed. And this is, to me, one of the best skill sets somebody can have, and a skill set that I'm usually very conscious of. Which I can start my day over at 11:01 or 11:51 or whatever, because so often, we not so often, that was so exaggerated. On occasion, we can step out of bed and run nylon, stub a toe, blah blah blah, and then when we don't make a conscious choice to start over, we all know how that goes, right? Then we're late to work all of a sudden. Then we forgot our lunch. Then we all forgot our wallet. Can't even buy lunch. It attracts. It attracts more chaos and more hectic energy to our lives. And I've actually had experience with this in the reverse. This is years ago. I just forget where that came from. That helpful. It was like a short little blurb somewhere, probably 20 or 25 years ago even. And once I read that, I just kept it. Turn the day around, because once we make that conscious choice, after the running the nylon, stubbing the toe, cut yourself shaving, late to work, forgot the lunch, forgot the wallet, can't buy lunch, whatever we get. So it's 9 o'clock in the morning. We already feel like it's a cluster F, if you know what I mean. We choose to turn that around. That momentum stops. I've had experience with that, and it works. It really works. I mean, it's not foolproof that you won't, break another nail later in the day or something. But I mean, typically, when you make a conscious choice to I prime my day every single morning. We might have to, or reboot maybe is a better word. It really does limit that domino effect. It limits it huge, and can even, flip flop the dominoes in the other direction, leading towards, somebody offering to treat you that day, maybe to lunch, or, and then you end up having this fabulous time with this colleague you haven't seen in a while. Who knows? But it really does work. So the fresh start commitment in the morning, and then the skill set with restarting the day are just valuable skills to acquire and work at. Okay, so and I just, as I tell my Minecrafter students, I work very hard at doing everything I have them do. So I say walk the talk the walk the talk, I guess it is. And so I'm also really honest, like I just was with all of you, that just like anyone else, even though I'm in the biz, I slip up and I get off track sometimes, for sure. And the thing is that once the switch is turned on, though, as far as a path to authenticity and, really working at, a positive lifestyle, a lifestyle of cultivating happiness and gratitude. Once that switch is turned on, even when you get this, even when you get off track a little bit, the switch is never really turned off, because you really know what your set point is. Okay, like what's going on. I've felt that over the last 5 days with this little house issue we've had going on. Like you feel out of alignment, almost like you need to go to an emotional chiropractor or something. I don't know how to explain it, because you don't feel right. And there's this, at least for me, there's this urge to get to like get back on the track. And it doesn't mean that you're way off the path. It might be like you're hiking and you're just in the grass that's a little bit taller. It's just like, whoa, wait, I want to get back on the path. Like, where are the markers? And that's what it's been like. And you sort of get that you're just a little bit off. And then for me, it'll kind of nudge at me, and I'm pretty conscious of it, so it doesn't take a lot of nudging. And I actually, when I feel out of alignment, even a smidge out of alignment, I head for the woods, which is what I've done every single day since last Friday when we had the little house thing happen. And in the woods, I typically, alignment comes to me. To be quite honest, it just kind of alignment comes to me. And if obviously, the bigger the curveball, it might not be in this exact second, but I'm more in alignment leaving the woods than I was walking into the woods. That I know for sure. And now, after this reading this morning, I feel like right back on track, just right back on track. Fresh start. And I also continue with all I continue going through the motions of my morning routine. All that continues. So that's what I'm saying about the switch being turned on. Once that's turned on, it can't really be turned off. And you get the signals that you might be a little bit off track almost seem to me, because I'm so hyper aware of my positive lifestyle. When the messages come from the universe about being a little out of alignment, they're almost like flares. They're so obvious, like it, just okay. You need to get back at this or get back at that. And interestingly, Richard Carlson's short little blurb, he takes this. I'm sort of saying this just in general, and kind of applied it to this brief little hiccupy thing we have going on. Because it's a regular life circumstance that we deal with stuff all the time, right? So I kind of made like a general, or the hot water tank thing, no power going out, whatever, cars breaking down, and Richard Carlson, however, this blurb with making the fresh start commitment is specifically geared at couples, and I kind of just generalized it. But as I've mentioned, he has a series of Don't Sweat the Small Stuff books out, and he's got all different ones. It's Don't Sweat the Small Stuff with Money, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff with Love. His original, I think, is just Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff, something like that. I'm not looking at that one at the exact minute. I'm looking at the one that's Don't Sweat the Small Stuff in Love, and this is also what I needed, because my husband and I really like each other, actually, and because of this hiccupy thing going on with another family member, we've been crispy with each other, and we've both known it. Like, we're still trying to, like, we're aware of it, and we tried to get a few minutes of peace this morning, and I actually read this to him on the way. Which he originally was like, I've got a little bit of a look, because I knew he was late after we talked the first time, and I said, honey, please, this is speaking to us. And he did, and to his credit, he did sit there for the 3 minutes it took me just to read the first part of it, and then smile, because I think we were both a little bit out of alignment, and he had to dart out the door after that. But I watched him very attentively listen and smile after I had brought this to his attention, and more than likely he'll bring it up tonight and be happy about it. So this first part is called Make the Fresh Start Commitment, and Richard Carlson starts with, it doesn't matter whether you've just met or fallen in love, or whether you've been together for many years. It can be enormously helpful to make the fresh start commitment. Doing so is the relationship version of cleaning the slate and making today, instead of yesterday or tomorrow, the most important day of your life together. And oh my gosh, it is so true. And I remember years ago, Tommy and I went to a marriage encounter just because we wanted to. I mean, it's such a freaking stigma with that. People are like, are you okay? We're fine. We just want to be together. We have 5 young adult kids who we love, and we just kind of made the great escape to even further enrich our lives. So anyway, that was a little sidetrack. But I remember they did something like this towards the end, like, make this day the most day of your life together, because you don't know, man. You don't know. We don't know when the card's up. That's kind of cliche, but wow, it's true, you don't know. So I think, so that when I read this part of this to my husband this morning, I watched him just smile. Like, that was just his get back on track smile, because I've known him for 30 plus years. So then Richard Carlson says, making the fresh start commitment means making the decision. I'm a big fan of these conscious decisions. Making the fresh start commitment means making the decision to drop all concerns, regrets, and disappointments from your past, as well as all of your expectations regarding the future. Today becomes the focal point of your relationship. This day becomes more important than past mistakes or future plans. You stop comparing today to days gone by or your hopes of a better tomorrow. You ask yourself the question, how can I make today the best day it can possibly be? And I'll tell you, that was my prayer this morning. I can say the word prayer. Now people get all whacked out when people say the word prayer. I can say prayer if I want to because it's my podcast. And I do pray, and that's my thing. I'm not trying to tell anybody else what to do. If you want to send the good vibes, good energy, do a positive affirmation, whatever. I also do those. I do all of that, actually. However, with our situation going on, that was my prayer today, just exactly that sentence. How could I make today the best day can possibly be? And I took that, let's say, positive affirmation also, because then I turned it around, right? This day will be the best day it can possibly be in the woods. And I had a good thing happen in the woods, actually. We had a near encounter with Giovanni and a pit bull, and he would have been shredded, and people don't usually bring pit bulls there, and it could have been catastrophic, and it wasn't. Everything went fine, and he's very happily sitting in his play yard downstairs. So it's amazing how things just turn around. And then so how can I make today the best day it can possibly be? And then he says the answer to this simple question becomes the key to a heartfelt and loving connection. The key to a heartfelt and loving connection. And, I was just I think the last podcast was about connected disconnection. It's all about connection no matter what we do. That's another reminder that when we're racing out the door, and my husband and I both have two very busy, I almost said big jobs. Everybody's got a big job because it feels big to us, right? It doesn't really matter what it is we're doing. Our jobs are big to us sort of in the context of what that means. And the cognitive load it takes and the time and effort and all that stuff. So busy, fast jobs, like busy, fast jobs, which personally I love because I have one speed and it's fast. It works for me. But we have to sometimes remind ourselves that even if we love our jobs, and both my husband and I do really, really love what we do, they're callings for both of us, still in the end, the point of all of it is about connection and connection. We're doing all this for ourselves and our families, and hopefully the connection with the people you work with and for. And I don't just mean for as far as supervisors. I mean for. I was actually thinking of my students, because I do think of it as a service, actually, as a genuine, spiritually speaking. That's how I meant it. And that connection is really what it's all about. And then, of course, if you're thinking about paychecks, for your family. And so, thankfully, that's sort of the side effect of my calling, because I love it so much. And Tommy loves his job as well. Okay, and then Richard Carlson says, it's been said that yesterday is but a dream, tomorrow a fantasy. Today, however, is reality, the only day that is guaranteed to be yours. The good news is that you have the capacity to make the precious moments of today all that they can be. I love the precious moments thing. And as you've all heard me say, I talk about life minutes. It's all about the life minutes, which is synonymous with the connections, or maybe close to synonymous, because we do some things maybe out on our own, but then maybe you're connected with your higher power, whatever. So the life minutes, it's all about how we spend our valuable life minutes. And he says, you do so by dismissing your thoughts from the past and postponing your reactions of tomorrow until they too become today. Richard Carlson, man, well said, because this moment is all we have. And it's become cliche with the touchy-feelies out there, and which is fine. Nothing wrong with touchy-feely. And that said, it's real. People leave this earth so fast. Beloved pets leave this earth so fast. And changes happen because, as they say, it's the only constant in life, right? I usually don't speak in bumper sticker, I promise. But this is such a reality that things change so quickly. And I love how he says that, like, until, those moments of tomorrow actually become the present moment, right? So all we've got is the now. And so many people are saying this. Eckhart Tolle, the power of now, right? So Richard Carlson says the trick is to forgive your past, become less fearful of the future, and bless the gift of today. Amen. And that means that's his Latin for let it be or so be it. And I like that as well, because it's so true. I know one of my one-liners for daily living is not to hang on to my past at all, because it is at the expense of my future. No freaking way is that happening. I try every single day to spend my life minutes as if they were cash. And it's also what I say to my Minecrafters. Okay, so quick recap. Make the fresh start commitment today to be the best possible day it can be. If things start to go south, remember the nylon thing, you cut yourself shaving, stub a toe, whatever, the car tire go, who knows? That we can choose, make a conscious choice to start our day over at 9:11 or whatever, 9:12, 10:15, whatever. It's just really, it all comes down to living deliberately, right? I'm a big believer in living deliberately, which is about little conscious choices all day long, not just the big ones. And Carpe Diem, of course, from one of my favorite movies, Dead Poet Society. Seize the day. All right, this is Kimberly Quinn signing off from Northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.